an average person spends about 3 years sitting in the toilet in his or her lifetime. Now, an average person goes to the toilet 2,500 times annually. Now, according to Mr. Rita Plumbing, an English king, George II, died after falling off his toilet. Now, many cases, such as Mr. George's, has also occurred here in South Africa, whereby an adult or a child dies or gets injured after falling in a pit latrine, either in school or at home. Now, pit latrines, which are also known as pit toilets, are a type of toilet that collects human waste into a hole in the ground. Now, in my presentation, referring to the two cases or two articles that were given to us, I'll be talking about the rights of the children that were infringed, and also notifying the delays that the government is making to provide schools with proper sanitation. I'll also be providing temporary solutions as a foundation phase teacher to pit latrines while waiting for the government to provide proper sanitation in schools. Now, the first right that was infringed was the right to a safe and healthy environment. Now, in both of the cases given, the right to a safe and healthy environment that is not harmful to one's well-being was infringed. Firstly, pit latrines are unhygienic and they serve as a threat to one's health. And secondly, pit latrines are not emptied whenever they are full, and they are also not cleaned on a daily basis. Pit latrines have an unpleasing or unhygienic odor, which then invites many diseases and sicknesses. Now, by forcing down a learner into a pit latrine, infringed upon his rights to a safe and healthy environment, as this could have negatively impacted on his health. Even worse, he could have had underlying health conditions that could have worsened. So, by pushing him down a pit latrine, these underlying health conditions could have been triggered. Now, even in the first case of Michael Komape, his right to a safe and healthy environment was also infringed because every day he was being exposed to these environmental conditions, and also it was unsafe in such a way that it even led to his death. Now, pit latrines are unsafe for the learners to use, and this was also supported by a microbiologist at the National Institute of Communicable Diseases, who stated that these toilets, which are in these conditions, could lead to gastrointestinal infections. Now, the second right that was infringed was the right to freedom from violence and protection against child abuse and torture. Now, this right under 29 section 12 of the Constitution of South Africa states that everyone has the right to freedom and a sense of security, which includes the right to be free from all sorts of violence from either a private or a public source. Now, the boy that was forced down by the principal into a pit latrine, his rights were infringed in such a way that he was degraded and humiliated. Now, by forcing him down a pit latrine posed a huge risk factor to his life. The principal caused torture to this young boy and treated him in an inhumane manner by putting him down an unhygienic and unsafe pit latrine. Now, his right to freedom from violence was infringed by exposing him to abusive treatment and conditions. Another right that was infringed was the right to sanitation. Now, having a proper and clean sanitation and toilets is a fundamental right to everyone. Now, this right was infringed in both cases by not providing the learners with proper toilets. Now, by not having sanitation and clean toilets in the school, violated Michael Komape's rights in such a way that it led to his death at such a young and tender age. Now, if proper toilets are also provided in the young boy's school that was forced down a pit toilet by the principal, he would have not faced such a hectic and degrading situation. So their rights were infringed by not having proper toilets. Now, according to Africa Check, 7-year-old Lester Magogwa died in 2013 after the walls of the toilet collapsed in his school at Mushi Primary School in Limpopo. Now, to avoid what had happened to Lester Magogwa from happening to another learner, the first solution that I would propose as a foundation phase teacher is, how about a social situation? Even way better, this would include curriculum interventions whereby we have a system of linking older children in higher grades in that primary school to smaller children when they go to use the toilets in order to ensure that they are safe. And educators is for us to list ablutions facilities. Now, according to the website of a company called Quickspace Modular Buildings, Quickspace is taking on the challenge to bring clean, safe ablution facilities to schools, and it takes from 5 to 15 days to receive the ablutions you have rented. The prefab ablutions are cost effective and they are safe. Ablutions would be of great advantage since they have inbuilt safety features which guarantees the learner's safety, and it also aligns with the learner's right to a safe and healthy environment. With reference to my presentation, it has been fairly discussed the rights of the children that are infringed, and also solutions are given out to pit latrines as we wait for the government to provide proper toilets in schools. Now, speaking from my own personal experience, at home I grew up in a township called Nelisa, and at home we also had a pit toilet, and it was so unsafe and unhygienic. It is best for the government to remove pit latrines in schools because numbers of children dying in these toilets increase annually.